Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News, and I'm your host, Ellie. And this is Investigator News, World News, today's news. I watched something last night, this morning. I watched it last night and I slept on it. And I watched it this morning, and I didn't want to say much until uh, tonight when it's being Thursday. Boy, the Wednesday this happened. When we came into this administration, they said all the adults were back. Now, these are the same adults, the Democrats, that I knew that were a lot of the protests during the 60s. And this is a big part of their life. So last night, when I got a report that there was a lot of whispers going on at the Capitol of we're all going to hit the floor. We're all going to hit the floor. Well, hit the floor for what? Hit the floor for what? And it was orchestrated by Nancy Pelosi. House Democrats voiced outrage Wednesday as Democrat Representative Adam Schiff of California was censored by the House for making false claims about the former President Donald Trump. We all heard it. They were in the skiff. He brought up this little thing he read that was full of lies. Oh, it was just a parody. It was a joke. No, you don't go into a skiff for very important proof and documents and read a parody. Now, since being censored is the highest level of disapproval of the member's conduct, next to expulsion. So the GOP could have chose to either censor him or impeach and expulse him. They said, no, we're just going to shut him up for a little bit. The vote on the resolution was brought by Anna Luna of Florida. Now, the vote was 213 to 209. The House and Democrats all opposed censoring Schiff, of course. You would expect them to. So don't get upset when you hear all of them. Well, they're just doing it because they're doing it. No, no, no. If somebody in the GOP was going through the same thing, we would expect every member of our party to oppose this. And, they would oppose. Now get this, they were allowed to get up and they were allowed to speak on this for days, saying why they didn't think he should be censored. So when it came down to it, the House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, was able to read only part of the censor resolution out loud before Democrat heckling, shouting, interrupted him to where he had to leave the chamber. The GOP has never done this to Nancy Pelosi. No matter how much we hated what she had to say, even when she ripped up that speech, we didn't run to the floor and heckle shame, shame, shame. The Democrats threw about a 5-minute temper. I thought it was close to, I was watching the time on it. It seemed more like 10 minutes. Yelling shame at Kevin McCarthy for refusing to allow him to finish reading his resolution. They called him a spiteful coward, weak. AOC said he called for him to be booted from his post. Nancy Pelosi was yelling, puppet show, puppeteer. You look miserable. Where does this come from, folks? Hello, Miss Susan. We've never done this. How childish is this? Remember, they're the adults in the room now. When I seen it, here we go.
On this vote, the yeas are 213 and the nays are 209. With 6 answering present, the resolution adopted. Without objection, the motion to consider is laid on the table. House will be in order.
There's little Miss Nancy Pelosi, and you know who's right next to her? I blew all this up, none other than Maxine Waters. Shame, shame, shame. This was a protest in the middle of Chambers. You know what would have happened if they would have lost their temper and started attacking GOP members? Would that be an insurrection? Shame on them. No, the shame goes to them. They should have just stayed in their seats and then listened to Adam Schiff say what he had to say. You know, there was no, we have not never seen this in history where the whole party went to the floor to heckle and throw threats at the House, the Speaker of the House. What gave them the right to do this? There's no law that says they can. I hope every one of them get phone calls. If you're a Democrat, folks, I'd be embarrassed. This was shameful. They yelled shame, 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 but it was shameful on them. They embarrassed their whole party doing this. How childish is this? Is this on the news tonight? Probably not. Shameful. Shame, shame, shame. And to heckle and to call McCarthy names. We've never did that to Nancy Pelosi. I know there was a few that wanted to, and there was a few that stood up and they did their time and said they didn't approve of what she was doing. That's the time, that's the place. That's the adult thing to do. Not jump to the floor and have a protest in the Capitol. This was a protest. They did more than the January 6th people did. Shame, shame, shame. Um, yeah, see, thank you, Susan, because they were out of control. What if the Capitol Police went in to arrest them? What would have happened? The GOP just said, okay, we're going to let you say your thing. You know, just do it, do it. And everybody said, oh, that shows weakness with the GOP. No, because we're not going to go out there and start dragging them off the floor. Come on. That's just, they do that over in Japan and China when they get in big old fights and there's women beating up women and they're rolling around in their skirts on the floor. No, we don't need to do that. That's so stupid and it's so childish. And what they pulled with this, very childish. It just shows that the protesters of the 60s are now protesting in at the Capitol. What's going to happen if they don't get their way on something really important? What will happen then? Nancy Pelosi it basically was encouraging people. Come on, come on, come on down, come on down. Get louder, louder. She was the instigator. She ought to be censored herself under under our articles for what she did. That was trying to incite violence at the Capitol. Is this the first time? I don't know. How many times? How many times did she get others in when we had State of the Union under Trump? Did she get people to do things? Now I think it's time to investigate Nancy Pelosi. Come get me, girl. I don't care. I don't care. Even the GOP is wrong too. I'm not saying that they did anything right, but for once they stayed in their chairs, they kept their mouths shut, and they let them make a fool of themselves. That's what they did. Oh boy. There's a report out now that Joe Biden spills sensitive intelligence about Chinese spy balloons campaign donors. What? I thought there wasn't nothing to the spy balloons. I guess there was. Now we're finding out maybe there was. At a fundraiser, Biden revealed to attendees what the U.S. intelligence agencies had learned about the Chinese spy balloon incidents earlier this year. I thought there wasn't nothing. Whispers. This is what he's been doing since he was a senator, folks. He's been doing. He's like Nancy Pelosi, folks. He'll learn things and then he uses it. He uses it. He's a little drama queen. I mean, he'd be better as a woman than a man. I mean, he wants it. Well, no, Susan, Susan, you got a really good point here. I got to bring this up. When our government says one thing, always take it as the opposite. I used to think that for a long time. Now I'm just coming up with, they just lie. They just lie. And what the problem with it is they can't keep up with the lies anymore. And I think Dexter Williams getting his little sense of humor here because even William is noticing that we're looking at a party that now has told so many they can't keep up with themselves. It's harder to remember the lie than remember the truth. And I don't think it's them taking the opposite direction and doing what they say. And what they're doing is actually what they're blaming the GOP of doing. I think they just out and out lie. And the media, I mean, I knew the media could be bought off when the Clintons bought the media off here in Arkansas during the Boys on the Track and the corruption they had here. I just, in the Durham report, um, I listened to them and I heard Nadler, and I so much wanted to say to Nadler, how come the DOJ never investigated what the Clintons did here? It's all about the Clintons. You're just not looking at Trump. You just want to look at Hillary Clinton. Well, she's corrupt. Him and her are corrupt. We knew that before they went to Washington. They said, what we did here, we're going to take to Washington. And we're going, oh no, everybody watch out. And then what they do, they silenced us. Everything that was in Arkansas got hushed. The news media glorified them. And then they admitted later on by a lady that was fondled by Bill Clinton that, hey, this is true, folks. I may get a strike for this one, but this is true. We definitely know this. There's Juanita Broderick that will come out and say, you know what? I know what he did. And they silenced the media. It's no different from what they're doing now. I mean, even people, I'm not saying don't watch Fox News, but you decide for yourself what's the truth in news. Now here, I'm almost vowing truth in news because I'm sick. I am so sick of the lies that the media have been spreading. And, I hear from people that stand right next to these politicians as they hear things. And they tell me, and they say, you got to put it on your news. I'm like, I can't. Because that would expose you. You would lose your job. And boy, they'd come after me. And they would censor me. Adam Schiff needs to be censored, not Ellie. So, and more, we're going to see this. More and more, the news media is going to become propaganda, like we see in not only third world countries, but we see like in China, Russia, and some of these other countries, even Ukraine. It's going to be rough, folks. We're in for a bumpy ride. Are you ready? Yeah, isn't it? Are you going to take the smooth path, or are you going to take the bumpy road? And you're going to fight these guys. We're taking the bumpy road. Yep. You can't take that smooth road to the easy way to the end, because at the end it wouldn't be so pretty. Take a few bumps, skin your knee a few times. But it's time that we're seeing this more and more of people standing up saying we've had enough. The parents at the schools, we've had enough. Had enough of who? Antifa, of all things. That's in the news. Parents stood up to Antifa and said, no, we're not going to put up with you no more. Antifa started off as anti-government. What happened to them? Now they're for the government, paid by the government to go out and protest in stupid protests all over the world. They're finding Antifa everywhere. Antifa was even a part of the protest in um, uh, um, Kiev in 2016 in Ukraine. Wow. So we have Biden giving up uh, surveillance of what was really going on with the spy satellite. But when do we get to hear? Now it's time for the GOP to go hit it up. But you know what they're going to say? Well, he was just teasing. He wasn't really meaning that. And the people he told and the donors and the other Democrats will just lie for him. They just lie. And now we're looking at um, them finally admitting China has been spying on the United States from its facilities in Cuba for a very long time. I've been saying this. Now, remember I told you, folks, when um, uh, Russia first put the missile launchers there and Russia moved over there. Well, lo and behold, so did China. But, when you don't have something that can prove this, I can't say much. But China has been spying on the United States from its facilities in Chile and Cuba, I'm almost at Chile, for a very long time. The answer is that China has used Cuba as a Cuba. Okay, where's Karen to throw the popcorn at me, huh? Has chose Cuba as espionage base for decades, even before the Trump administration. They can't say, oh, this only happened during Trump. Well, it did, folks, it did. But it happened during Obama and Bush. What did I say? Cuba has been doing espionage from a base that was controlled by China for decades. The Chinese military personnel were only visible at certain times. Cuba allowed the Soviets to stage a strategic nuclear missiles on the island. This was in 1962. Did they ever leave? According to some Cubans, no. History also reviews that Cuba directly tyrannical aggression against the United States by ordering gunfire upon American aircraft. This was during Fidel Castro. This was reported by American United States Air Force Major Rudolph Anderson, a pilot who captured surveillance photos of developing Soviet missile stations on Cuba in 1962. Cuba's war against America has even come to American soil. In Miami, Cuban intelligence officer Geraldo Hernandez and Antonio Guerra, Raymond Labanio, Fernando Gonzalez, and Rene Gonzalez were found guilty of conspiracy to commit espionage. What about domestic Marxism that was found? I always talk about Marxism. Well, they found it there too. Create a fake enemy, the U.S. blitz a marketing campaign about war that with this embargo they wanted to do. And there is a straw man argument empowering the Cuban dictatorship. Cubans, fascists, is basically fake reasons for a fake war to profit from those countries that seek to destroy the United States. Cuba will continue to partner with enemies of America. Why? Because they don't like us. Why do you think the Cubans fled? They fled to here. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. I don't know if they've hit me with a ban or what. Um, Linda's having a hard time. They have been hiding this channel for quite a long time now, and I'm not sure why. Um, Google's doing it, so I don't know. I might have to go. I'm trying to wait out until the middle of July, which I'll have a strike come down, and then I'll be able to put everything on Investigator News too. I'm not sure if it's just because there's not enough to make it more popular. Because this was a made channel that we can move to when they're fixing to take my other channel. So, all right, so Cuba, they don't like us. Now we got spies for decades, come to find out, not only with the Soviet Union and Russia, but now we know for decades that China's been there as well to spy on the United States. They were doing it going into Miami, they say. Wow. I have to give credit to Arizona for this one, the U.S. Marshals. Now, I barely caught this morning, and I thought, what a great idea. U.S. Marshals, what they did is they went around and these people that um, have warrants, felons, those that have hurt people and uh, shot people or known for guns or gun violence or fentanyl or everything. The U.S. Marshals did a roundup and they're calling it the summer operation. Let's see, make sure I get this right. Operation Summer Shield, and they took close to 300 felons off the street this week and over the weekend and this week. They took off um, hundreds of fentanyl, hundreds of guns. These are felons that aren't supposed to have guns. That when they went to their homes, they had guns. These are top people that have been wanted for a very long time, and they did a cleanup. And I have to give a salute to Arizona for this. I think all these other states need to start doing the same thing, like San Francisco. Look at how bad San Francisco, the crime is so bad that the stores are shutting. So Operation Summer Shield is on its way. Watch out, criminals, because U.S. Marshals are coming for you. I love it. I love it. Um, Huge explosion in Paris, 35 injured. Now, the thing about this, we had a few here, and I went back to try to find them, and I couldn't. There was three explosions. I thought there was one over in the UK. I thought one was here, but it was more like a fire for the one here, but something exploded. Um, but the one over in Paris, 37 people have been injured. The blast took place at a building that housed and designed School for Catholic Education System headquarters. So this was a Catholic building. Was this a terror attack? They're not really claiming that at this point. I believe it was. We need to be looking into it because is this the start of Catholic type of education building being have explosions and all over the world? Now we've known LGBTQT, I think that's what it is. They have been burning down churches here, and especially Catholic churches. They have protested in the middle of their ceremonies. Now, is this what we're seeing? We're going to start seeing here in the United States. I believe so. Now, I told you last night that Biden called Jinping a dictator. What? I thought we were trying to smooth things over. I thought he was going to put him to bed and give him the teddy bear and the warm milk and tuck him in and say, Jinping, we love you. Well, I thought that's what happened. And then, Blinken comes back and he says, oh, he's a dictator. We don't like him. I mean, you can't have it both ways. And now everybody was like, why did he do that? Well, he did it before, folks. He's been doing it since he was a senator. Every time there's something that he gets himself into, this is Joe Biden now. Every time he says something or does something that um, uh, upsets China, whoever the leader is, of course, then we send somebody over and they smooth everything out and they come back and they lash out. They've done this over and over and over again. It's like a love hate relationship. Was William calls them frenemies? Frenemies, yeah. I'll be your friend, but you know what? You're my enemy. And to make me look good in front of my people, I got to call you a dictator. But that helped. Now, what I heard from the ambassadors over there and some of the premiers that's talking, even we're hearing chatter from Taiwan, is we showed that America was way weaker than they even thought. And that's what they're talking. That's what the chatter is um, Jinping is free to go in and just take Taiwan. And this is around the world. This isn't Taiwan saying it, Japan, Philippines. They're all wanting to fight. They're ready. They're ready. The UK even said, if the United States won't stand up, we're thinking about doing this. And we're starting to hear from Australia. And Australia said, hey, well, what about us? We're next. Japan is saying, what's going to happen to us? Now, what they thought as allies now, are they going to have to bend a knee to Jinping and agree to his terms? Where's the United States? Now, last I heard, we were 17th on the list. That's scary. Now, right there should scare the hell out of you. China, Russia, and I think Africa's beyond that, and the UK. And why? What happened? It's called a bad administration. Biden wants to eat his ice cream, and so does Pelosi. Who cares? Let them eat their ice cream. Let them do that. But it takes a whole administration of very important people that know how to do their jobs and support this country through and through. And live up to the vow that they took when they took this job. They vowed to protect the our flag and America. I mean, even the Democrats, they vowed to stand for us, what we think, what we want, what the voters would want. And they've gone pretty rogue. Wow. I mean, we've seen that whole thing with them protesting at the Capitol. Shame, shame, shame. Is that what we have? They have made us weak. They have presented us as weak. They have presented to other countries. Why are all of them running to these other countries? What are they telling them? I think it's time that we get a hold of some Freedom of Information Act and find out what they've been telling these guys. I mean, we had to, they forced a phone call with Zelensky and Trump. Why can't we force their phone calls to find out what they're telling these other countries? And you know what? I think it would scare the hell out of a lot of us what they're telling them. Um, why did Hillary Clinton run to North Korea so many times? And this was during Obama and even into the Trump administration. What was she doing over there? And then all of a sudden, he's got these strong nukes and he's ready to bomb Japan, Hawaii, and the United States. John Kerry running over to Iran many, 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 many occasions. And all of a sudden, we're giving them pallets of money and they've got nuclear tipped weapons. They say death to America, death to Israel. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'm just quoting them. I'm quoting what the Ayatollah says. But Susan, understand when they brought in socialism, that was 2 years, 2 years, folks, away from communist. Uh, who's going to be our leader if we become communist? We become a dictator. See, that's what the vote's about. And you know what's really let me see if I can find this. Um, Um, Now we have to, and I get this, when we go to vote in these voting machines, they all have to be updated. They have information that all the new who's running for who, and all the information is all got to go into the program for these voting machines. Well, there's updates, just like our computers. We have updates all the time. Well, there's a lot of states now that are saying they don't want the updates. Now they're starting to put their foot down. I think it's got to be paper ballot. We have got to, in order to make this a better election, it's got to be paper ballot because we now have states, Georgia being one, that says they're not doing updates on their computer. Is it safe? Now, probably half of my viewers will say, "Oh yeah, I think it'd be fine." The other half are going, "Wait a minute now, what are they going to do?" I'm kind of flipping the coin back and forth because I have seen and investigated so many things on these machines for decades that I don't know. It's like the polls. Yeah, what? Biden is even with Trump again? I thought he was losing out in at 10% or 20% a week ago. They did the same thing. They put low numbers, and then when it came close, about a year away, from the when we decided to vote, all of a sudden his numbers, boof, they were way up there again. I just don't trust the polls. Not only that, but even CNN Politico has been caught um, doing twisting the numbers. Yeah, I was doing good today too. Uh, okay, so um, and the Palestinians, me and William talked about Israel last night. The Palestinian has done over like 5,000 attacks since the beginning of the year. I was trying to find it really quick for Karen last night, but just this year, 5,000 attacks. And now you can see why Israel is very protective and have put up a protection all the way up along their fronts. And when something's shot, they shoot right back. It's getting closer, they say, to a war, and it would be a war not with Hezbollah or Hamas or the Iranian mercenaries. It's going to be with Iran itself because they know who's behind a lot of this. It's just like when we look at Ukraine. William, maybe we should have talked about this last night. It's just almost like Ukraine. They've got NATO, they got the United States, they got Poland and Germany that's behind this. Well, when you look at Israel and the Palestinians, it's not the people it's not the Palestinians themselves. I think they're victims. A lot of them are. Now, I'm not saying there's not mercenaries. Yes, there are. Of course, there's mercenaries that'll go fight because they don't like the Jews. They don't like the Zionists. They don't like any of this. They don't like Damascus, Lebanon. They don't like. It's just one big fight. And me and William has stated this with the Shiites and the. I'd had it earlier. Lost the name there. Uh, but they've been fighting for thousands of years. But they've always wanted to take Israel out once they had reclaimed it for the Jews. And of course, they want to get rid of it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Huh. Boy, that. I had a big warning come up, and I don't even know why. I just kind of put it to the bottom. I have to look at it later. Um, they don't like what I'm doing. um, so let me. I'm going to switch this while I have a chance. Um, um, Chris Christie, folks. Um, I've heard this rumor about him for child mutilation. And I thought, oh, who would even go for that? It's just a rumor. I mean, it's coming out. Um, PJ News had it this morning, and I looked at it and I said, I don't know, folks. Um, it's out there. Many news publications have put it out that this he is agreeing with this. And you know what? Until it comes out of his mouth, I'm gonna put this on hold. Don't go for that. Okay, don't go. I don't care who the news media is. If it doesn't sound right and it sounds totally horrific, wait until you hear it out of their mouth. Um, because something like this, it could ruin his career. Now, if he did say it, then crucify him. That's up to you. But to for everybody to come out today, Chris Christie is for mutilation, child mutilation. I think yeah, I think people need to wait on this. So if you're hearing this, folks, just wait a little bit and see what else comes out because we don't want to crucify somebody for something that is a rumor and it's just been spread around by Democrats that don't want him to run. It's getting nasty. The mud is getting thicker, and the mud that they are throwing is not quite like pea soup like it used to be. I think they're putting rocks in the mud patties, and we got to start watching what's being said in the media. So, um, well, I might get done early today. Sarah Huckabee. Um, I got to give her credit here because this happened in Arkansas, and a lot of people think um, it's something that happened all over the United States, and it didn't. It was um, Sarah Sanders sounds off on the judge who blocked the sex change ban for minors. She was trying to stop it here in the state. Now we have a good attorney general here that is with her on this, so they're not going to let it go. They're going to take it to the next phase. Um, so don't think that she's got to stand up for our state. And she said once that she can find the key to get it banned for Arkansas, then she will help other states. Now, I know some people are saying, no, no, no. But get this. Oh, boy, I should have reported this last night. I found this article, folks, that say that kids that are going to school between the ages of kindergarten and second grade are now saying they don't want. Okay, let's say a little girl. Well, I don't really want to be a boy, but can I be a monkey? I'd rather be a tiger. You know what? How about baby shark? I want to be baby shark. Do. Um, is this telling you something, folks? I mean, this is going on, and it's happening all over this country, where the kids are saying, "Well, like a boy, well, I don't want to be that. Can I be Batman instead?" See how confused this is? He not to be a girl, he wants to be Batman. Now, should we let him be Batman? And he said, if he can't be Batman, can he be a Black Panther? Not the group, a actual animal Black Panther. Kids are now starting, instead of changing gender, they want to become an animal. Now, do we let them dress up like animals to go to school? Should we address them as little Sally Unicorn? What if she wants to be a unicorn? Should we let the kids be animals? They started it. I'm just reporting the news, and I think it's one hell of an idea. My granddaughter. How many times your kids have Halloween, and you dress them up, and they want to keep wearing that Halloween costume? Let's let them. Susan's going, no, 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 no. See how twisted this is, because a child cannot make up their mind. They may want to be a doctor at 5 years old, and then at 11 they're like, oh no, I'm going to be an anthropologist. I'm going to be a police officer. I'm going to go join the military. I'm going to be a soldier. Uh, Kids change their mind all the way through. And for now, the kids want to be animals because they're telling them they could be what they want. You can be anything you want. Well, I want to be Batman. I'm with that one kid. I want to be Batman. When actually I want to be She-Wolf. We go for Halloween, or I want to be Mrs. Claus all year round. You, you know, they never planned this stuff right. Everything that this administration has done is as far as the EV cars. They didn't plan for the power up stations. They never put them in place first. Everything they've done, they've never planned. And they've never had a plan to get to the end. Just like socialism, there is no end. It just becomes communism. So now we got these kids, and they're saying, "Oh, you could be whatever you want, and we won't let your mom and dad know." And these kids are like, "I'm gonna be Batman." They are in school to yes. They're thank you, Susan. You have got a really good quote here. They are in school to read and write. I'm glad to see the kids fighting back, saying there are two genders. Yes, but then the confused ones are saying, "Well, can I be a unicorn? Can I be a teddy bear? Can I be a puppy?" Mickey says no. Puppies are puppies. See, and we're looking. You said to read and write. 11 year olds, when they go sixth to seventh grade, they're finding that the school, um, I can't remember the testing they do, but it's showing that 11-year olds, all boys and girls, are all failing in math and English right now. They shouldn't be. Well, you remember they got brought in Common Core. What the heck was that? I mean, I still don't know how to do Common Core, and I'm still learning. And they said English. No, they took history out because history wasn't important. And I watched a thing on Hamilton, I think. And you know what? Kids need to learn about our forefathers. It wasn't all about they owned slaves. Yeah, they did. Of course they did. Everybody did. And then they were told they were wrong. But we got to do something with the kids. And Susan's right. They go to school to learn. They learn to write. They learn to do proper English. They learn history. And, um, golly, I agree with a judge that I've been working with for the last couple months. Get the kids back in sports. Give them PE. Give them longer recesses to vent and get out there and run. A smart judge we had here. And he said, how could you not want this for your kids? And who are these parents that want to change things? Well, the parents that show up at these PTA meetings and school board meetings and even City Hall um, for the I'm lost. Um, um, City Council. I'm sorry. They show up for these things, and what are they being? They're being arrested for what? Well, they were only doing what they did, and they didn't even yell shame, shame, shame at the city council. They were being very disruptive. So where was FBI to arrest them? They did the same thing. They were just saying what they thought. Boy, I'm going to get in trouble for that picture, I tell you. But you know what? That's exactly what the parents are doing. Don't let your kid be a unicorn, a panther, or Batman, or switch. You know what? Let little Johnny play. I used to watch the preschoolers at the church while the families were in church. And all the little boys, they were over there cooking in the kitchen, and all the little girls are riding around on all the bikes and the boy things. Was that them saying they wanted to change? No, they just were having fun because the following week, the girls were in the kitchen and the boys were being mean and messing with each other and wrestling. It changed week to week. So don't change our kids, and teacher leave them kids alone. Oh yeah. Um, I didn't think I was going to go that far. Good show though. Um, um, do you remember that what was it called? Um, the SNCTM, the LA Sex Club. Do you remember that? Anybody remember that? They got busted, and then I gotta say, what came from that, and the only reason why I remember, and you're like, Ellie, what were you into the LA Sex Club for? Because I heard about it, and then that's when I found out that there was a gentleman that was renting Adam Schiff's condo that he ended up being killed at a party where they dressed up like animals. Well, so Hunter Biden, the scumbag he was part of this group, the Los Angeles based sex club. And they have been banned because the X rated organization, after claiming Hunter Biden was once a member, and he got kicked out for being a scumbag. Well, that figures. I mean, when you get kicked out of a sex club, you got to wonder what the heck he did. He's a scumbag, they said. That's about, I'm giving you guys a lot of good info today. It's like did you know about Adam Schiff's? Um, he was a renter for his condo. And it wasn't the first time. There was three of them that died that rented the same, out of the same condo. I think it was I'm not real sure if it was an apartment complex or a condo, but no one ever really went in to take a look to see what was going on. And lo and behold, here we see them wanting to dress up like animals at Bohemian Grove and women. Yeah, summer solstice is coming, folks. Here comes Bohemian Grove, where one day they dress up like animals. I don't know. I don't even know what they do. And then another day they dress up like women. And then the cremation of care at the end with the sacrifice and the screaming and the who are you type voices. And the owl that speaks like Walter Cronkite. You got to wonder what happens at Bohemian Grove. But summer solstice is coming up. And that's where all the big elite guys go. I wonder who's on the list. I know Nancy Pelosi's husband was for the longest time. I think he's still on there. Bill Clinton's been there. Hey, Reagan was there. Let me throw some people, other ones. Kissinger was there. The Bush family goes every year. Huh. Biden family's been there forever. And so here we go. Who's going to be in the dress this year and who's going to meow like a cat? Yeah, that's Bohemian Grove, the fun. Oh boy, they're gonna get me today, William. Um, now we had this Democrat guy. I think William, you were telling me about this. A Democrat donor arrested accused of igniting explosive forest fire, and the Democrats blamed it on climate change. The 71-year-old man, he was arrested in Mariposa, California, and he was taken into custody on Friday, suspicion of aggravated arson and great bodily harm. And they said they're not really saying where in California. They just said that he was basically what the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection also said, or also Cal Fire is how I know him, said that Ed Wackerman, boy, what a name, is facing several felony charges, including aggravated arson. These charges carry serious legal consequences. The district attorney is now committed to ensuring a fair trial and upholding justice. Why is the district attorney wanting a fair trial for this guy? He should be hitting him up to every extent of the law, is what you would normally hear from a DA. His lawyer says he's going to defend him, and make sure he gets it fair, but the DA should nail him to the wall. And rub them with sandpaper. So, and we found out people with Antifa set fires. And remember, PG&E said they sparked a few. And then it was all said it was climate change. No, 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 no. Mostly the time when there's a spark, it was a fire that was set, just like the 49er fire. They tried to say it was so hot that day that they don't know how it started. Come to find that he didn't want to litter, but he was, I guess, for some reason pooping outdoors. And he had toilet paper with him. So he didn't want to get in trouble for leaving garbage. So he set the toilet paper on fire. Unfortunately, it was a windy day and off it went. 49er fire happened. See, it's always somebody. Always look for someone that said it. Just don't assume that two sticks in the middle of the wood rub themselves together and sparked. How does climate change start a fire? Not only that, but get this today, and as of today, this should be the last day of our lives, according to Greta Thunberg, that she was told by Bernie Sanders and AOC and Al Gore and the rest, and Bill Gates, that if things didn't change, that today would be basically the end of our lives as we speak on Earth. Somebody pinch William and see if he's still there. What'd they say? Oh, 2030. Well, yeah, okay, Bernie Sanders. We're all going to die back in the 70s, every 8 years. Now they scammed a little girl to saying the same thing. And today should be one of the last days that we're here on Earth. We're going to burn up. The sun's going to get us. If not a tornado, hurricane, and I don't know, the sun's going to fall. The moon isn't going to give her light no more. We're all gone today. See how stupid that is? And this is what they presented, even Al Gore and Bill Gates, the rest of them. The climate changers all said to this little girl that today would be the day. That's it. Deadline. I think they need to start explaining themselves. You know? Yep, they need to start explaining themselves. All right, I'm almost to the end here. Well, yeah. Greta Thunberg, beginning of the end of the world prediction was for today. She's mad. We've had 5 years to stop using fossil fuels and wiping out all of humanity. And she said, now, this is it. The top scientists in warning that the climate will change and wipe out all of humanity today or within the next 5 years. And she says now she has been fooled. And she's angry. She needs, and you know what? They've took out her tweet. Someone took out her tweet. It wasn't Elon Musk. Every time she is going to speak in public, they have blocked her at this point. Now she's angry. But she's just trying to tell everybody the truth. She was scammed too, like the rest. Are we going to die in 5 years, or is it today? They said today or within the next 5 years. Well, the Democrats now say, oh, no, it's 2030. No, don't pay attention to that little girl over there. We're going to duct tape and hog tie her, and it's going to be 2030 this time. Or if it don't work in 2030, it'll be 2050. Wow. Yeah. We had that gentleman, and I think he was a Marine. Remember the one in the subway? That he was worried about other passengers. There's chilling video out there, and it won't let me play it. It totally took me out on Facebook saying, can't show that. he The video, they said, captures a Manhattan subway slash victim screaming in agony after random attack and pleading for help as other riders apparently just go about their business. Pull the emergency brake. The 28-year-old victim can be heard sobbing, "Help, help." The uh, an alien strap hanger actually hobbled after her attacker through the train car while shooting the video of him on her phone. The cop says they used to nail him. Um, at one point, they were wanting to withhold his name. The thing about it is, this guy got on the train and he started threatening people and he started slashing a woman, which yelled, "Help, help, somebody help me." And everybody just turned and didn't look. Why? Because of this. They say they were afraid if they did something and they hurt this guy, they wouldn't be in jail like that Marine was. Now, look at what the media has done. We want to hear shame, shame, shame. How about the Democrats say shame, shame, shame on going after this fellow Marine that, okay, he may have squeezed, he may have killed this guy, but what would he have done? Would he have slashed people like this one gentleman did? And everybody now is just to let it happen. They're going to watch someone get stabbed on the train. Why? Because they don't want to die and they don't want to go to jail if they hurt this guy. No, let's do like Arizona does with the U.S. Marshals. Let's go round these suckers up. It's time to go get these guys. If you committed a crime with a knife or baseball, I don't care, a bat, a hammer, anything. If you commit a felony like that, you deserve to be rounded up. And if you got a gun, you're going to get in trouble because felons don't have guns. All right. So, folks, that is it for tonight. I know it was short. I ran a longer show than I should have on the first one, and this one was kind of short. But share the show. This was a good show. I've threw a lot of info in there, maybe get me in a little trouble, but um, we're the truth in news, and I'm here to tell you the truth. And I'm excited about it. We're getting better, and I'm getting to where we can say things because I've got backup. And according to their own policy, as long as I have something to back it up, then I'm good to go. Well, I'm waiting. But for the Democrats, I just want to say shame, shame, shame on every single one of you for having a protest inside our Capitol. It should not have been done. It's very childish, and it was very dangerous for you to do so. So, with that, folks, we will see you tomorrow for trivia, news and trivia. Tell people about it. Share this. Tell them to come watch trivia tomorrow and play. I'm going to try to keep it light news so that everyone can watch. I might run it on all three platforms. So that might make it easier for some to be able to watch it. And I'm still, this thing with the network, they're hiding it. So we got to move everybody over and get more people on the channel to where they know the news is here. It's running at the bottom of the screen. And that we get people over here so we can wait out our time of the middle of July. It's the 15th, 17th, something like that. That we'll put the strike down again and we'll be able to be on Investigator News too. But if we ever lose the channel, this is where we'll be. All right, folks, subscribe, hit the like button, share over there in Facebook. All the new viewers, thank you. And keep adding us and getting more people to follow us. And, ring my bell. You guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye bye, folks, and God bless.